Okay. We've said before the church should not be a people-pleasing place. And the Lord is surely going to bring judgment to this land, America, this place of opportunity. It seems like men have changed the place of opportunity from being free to practice what we believe in God to opportunity to sin, which is just the opposite of what God meant for this place to begin with. This place surely is Babylon, the mystery Babylon talked about in the book of Revelations. And this place no different than what God did with Sodom and Gomorrah. Listen to the story of Lot. The Bible says that Lot went down and he made his camp in the valley of Sodom and Gomorrah. And doesn't actually say that he moved into the place to begin with. But when Abraham went down, was headed down to Sodom and Gomorrah to save his in-law or his nephew there, Lot had set his house up inside the city. He had slowly migrated into the ways of Sodom and Gomorrah, and his wife was resistant to leave Sodom and Gomorrah. Even when she knew that God was going to burn the place down, she was resistant to leave. And excuse me. And Lot had set himself up in the gate of the city. Now that's where the most important men do their business. That's when you gain access to the town, and then you move up, and you're the one that gets to the merchants traveling in and out of the city first. So, and he had gotten to the place. He was political enough to where he had gotten to the place where he was at the gate of the city. He was right in there with them. He was doing all the things that they did, and he was good at it. And so much that the Bible said that, I would venture to say that Lot might have been an alcoholic, because the first thing that when he moved out to this other little place, and well, actually he wanted to go to Zoar, and the Lord, and somehow they just couldn't dwell there for some reason. I'm not sure, but they was up in the mountain by themselves, and the Bible said he got drunk. So he took his stuff and he gathered up. The Bible said as they lingered, the angel got a hold of their hand and pulled them out of the city. Well, they were lingering, gathering up stuff that they needed to take with them, and Lot made sure that he brought the booze, because the Bible said that he got drunk. Well, he had to have something to get drunk with, so obviously he brought the booze with him. So I'm saying that I venture to say that he saw this as a necessity. Where if your house is burning down, what do you grab? You run to the liquor closet and take all the booze that you can? No, you just take the necessities of what you need. You grab your clothes, you grab shoes, you grab things of hygiene maybe. The liquor closet is the last place you're going to visit, unless you're an alcoholic. So anyways, and my mind drift toward the daughters of Sodom. Now, they weren't resistant like their mother, but they were ignorant of the things that are going on around as far as the righteousness of God goes. I mean, their father hadn't even taught them the righteousness of God. His daughters hadn't taught them about the Lord. He knew. Lot was a preacher. I think in there somewhere it says something about Lot being a preacher, or one who spreads the word, or certainly he should have been if he wasn't. And I had to go back and check that out. But anyway, he should have been one standing in the place for God. Maybe somebody said that in a sermon. And he never, you know. So here are the daughters of Lot who were ignorant. And the daughters of ignorance, you know, and I thought to myself, how that is so like the people across this land. They're ignorant. They're not learned. I was at work where I met the great-grandson of the man who built the first Pentecostal church in our county where we live in Indiana. And his son and his great-grandson knew absolutely nothing about God. He had been so taken away from it. His dad lived in a bar. His dad was a member of the Moose Club, or whatever it was called, something like a Moose Club. And they allowed on certain days to take their children into that place. And you know what? He was drifting, just like Lot drifted toward that place of Sodom and Gomorrah. This land is drifting toward that place of Sodom and Gomorrah. I heard that, I saw that on YouTube, that somebody had sued a printing company for printing Bibles because it speaks against the homosexual. Well, it doesn't just speak against the homosexual, it speaks against every sin. It's not a hate crime against any in particular one. It's non-biased. It speaks against all sin. And just because the men of Sodom and Gomorrah were homosexuals, most of them were, doesn't mean that that is the particular sin that God burnt the place down for. But they named the place after the nature of who they are, Sodom. I'm not sure what Gomorrah means, but I'm absolutely sure what the Sodom means, you know. Gomorrah, maybe. I'm not sure. Break that down. Anyway, the daughters of Sodom cover this land. The ignorant daughters of Sodom cover this land. Sodom and Gomorrah cover this land, not knowing. And you know, I prayed to the Lord today. I said, Lord, give me a chance to spread your word to the ignorant people of this country. I said, don't burn this place down, because there's 3 asteroids scheduled to hit this world in the books of Revelation. The Bible says it would come so terrible that that if Jesus don't come back and stop it, there will be no flesh left on this earth. Listen, God's going to do this place just like He did with Sodom and Gomorrah. He's going to burn it. Judgment is coming to this place. It's coming to this place. It's coming to our homes. Our homes are beginning to be burnt down, just like Sodom and Gomorrah. Listen, the homes of Sodom and Gomorrah were burnt down long before those 2 angels showed up. Long time. They begin to set fires amongst themselves, hatred and anger, and migrating toward the center sin of Sodom and Gomorrah, depleting themselves from very life itself, who God is, burning themselves within for lust for one another. And the Bible says it's better to marry than to burn. That's the burning that it's talking about. Burning your homes down with not just that particular sin, but with all sin. Hating one another, causing strife and anger to be stirred up, rather than bringing peace and the love of God toward one another. The righteous judgment of God is not unrighteous anger of men. Okay? So these things are the things that burn our houses down long before the veils begin to pour out, people. Long before the trumpets begin to blow, our houses are going to be burnt down. Long before that, listen, spiritually burnt is what? You know, when the angels walked into that city, they couldn't see any houses standing. They reported back to God. They said, look, get on their spiritual phone. It says, God, every house in here has already been burnt to the ground. Send the fire and make the natural just like the spiritual. And that's what's going to happen to America. America is going to be burnt down in the same manner in which Sodom and Gomorrah was burnt to the ground. Listen, preachers, begin to pray for the daughters of Lot across this land. Begin to pray for the sons that would be of Lot that cross this land. Those that are unlearned about the righteous things of God. Begin to pray listen before God sends the angel and takes these who are able to be saved out of this place and leave behind those that are resistant, even just like they did with Lot's wife. All right. God bless you. We'll see you again next time. Another great message right here, Crossing the Middle Ministry.